commercial success, it's like all the influences just kind of go out the window. They just like, I don't know, that's what I was trying to say. I saw that in R.E.M. at one point. It's like the point where you just stop trying. You know what I'm saying? I've seen that in other groups.
I don't think that they stop trying. I just think that it's really easy to get really like full of yourself and to believe that like everything. It's not that you stop trying. It's just that you believe that everything that you're doing is great.
Or just, yeah, right.
I mean, it's easy to get to that point even without being famous.
Well, arrogance is not something I respect too much. Like the humility, even in knowing that you've done something great.
No cigarettes.
What about cigarettes?
Because left town so long ago and I ain't got no cigarettes. I can't even sing it. It's really good.
Well, for that
King of the road.
So this guy right here just said he's one of the biggest R.E.M. fans in the world. Should have captured that moment.
Right, but not in the usual way. Yeah.
So, what about Document?
I love Document. I love all the IRS record stuff. That's like, to me, that's the best stuff. 82 to like, 88, 89. Yeah. That's where they were really at there.
I'm really fond of Document.
Document's great. Yeah, to me, Fables of the Reconstruction is their best album by far. I mean, that is just like summed up like fucking southern rock and like Gang of Four style like punk rock and like just combined it all. I don't know, like nobody ever has like, it's like an album that was made in a style that never existed and never again has. I don't know. Fables is
that's
like
a great accomplishment.
Fables is my favorite.
For anyone to create something new.
You know,
Everything's so
Finest
like,
Work song, Can't Get There From Here, like that period. It's really just, I don't know. That's my favorite. That's my favorite. I also, I really love like the early, really catchy stuff like Radio Free Europe and Gardening at Night, and
what's that one that goes Walking on Coals?
It's
Something Stones.
Probably my. Oh yeah.
How's it go?
I don't know, but probably my favorite one is that. Can't Get There From Here. Like of the singles, anyways. There's a lot of great album tracks too, but
Can't Get There From Here if you don't move.
It's all about this tiny town called Philomath, which
yoga.
is a really cool name for a town.
What?
Philomath, Georgia. If the world is a monster set to swallow you whole, Philomath, you know the way down. Leave your troubles at the door. If you need an inspiration, Philomath is where I go. Lord Jeffrey knows the way down.
Not familiar with that record, Fables of the Reconstruction.
They just reissued it. It's like the 25th anniversary reissue or whatever. I was thinking of picking it up. I used to have it on cassette, but I played it like, I had it since like the 90s and just like played it till it broke or something. And all the writing was like faded on it, so I couldn't like remember what the names of the songs were anymore.
In college, my friend BJ, you probably didn't meet him, Dyed Herring. He liked all the early R.E.M. stuff. He's played that stuff and was fond of it. And I was kind of into the Monsters, Strange Currencies. I was so depressed. I played Strange Currency on repeat and blasted out my window. This is freshman year.
Right.
And eventually this girl, my friend Marina, came to check up on me and said, "Are you okay? Will you stop playing that song?"
Well, basically as a band they had two incarnations. They were like very much like heroes of the avant-garde and then heroes of the mainstream, and I just happen to appreciate their first period a lot more. Because it just kind of like relates more to like musical influences that I probably like
I guess now when they play live, they probably never revisit those older tracks as much in live concerts. Or it gives commercially people what they want, based on record sales or something. Maybe label pressures at the... I've seen some footage of like Finest Work song.
That's off Fables. Yeah, that's from Fables to Reconstruction.
Also, because it's undocumented.
Is it undocumented?
Yeah.
Alright. Well, that's the same period. That's probably my favorite period for them is like those. I feel like that's where they really kind of like got comfortable with like the most southern aspect of their sound, but also what they were discussing was so antithetical to like anywhere that southern music had ever been at that time.
Why don't you buy me that album, The Fables of the Reconstruction? He's bought me some great albums. Wish You Were Here by the Pink Floyd was I would have never heard that if he hadn't given it to me as a gift. And I don't know what other records. Your influence on me musically has been great and vast. You know, introduced me to Elvis Costello's Armed Forces and Laurie Anderson. Of course, that was that time in Simi Valley. I heard those tapes for the first time. IRS label, last one for IRS, and I'm really fond of it. The first side especially, everything's good on the first side. Gotta say, Welcome to the Occupation might take the cake, but it's the end of the world as we know it. Of course, big favorite. That one is kind of stream of consciousness, which is what I was talking about before. Certain poets do that stream of consciousness thing. Happened to me too. And this one, what could I say about it? It's just fun. And this one has Losing My Religion, of course, probably their biggest hit, I guess. I mean, everyone likes whatever they like. And this one with Ignore Land, which I mentioned earlier, and one of my favorites. I was just I was talking about being verbose, and yeah, I can be verbose in with my lyrics, because I have long songs that go on for like 7 minutes or stuff like that, or have a lot of verses. I kind of inherited that from Dylan. Bob Dylan has these long things that just go on, and Michael Stipe has these songs where he shoves in a lot of lyrics into a small space, so they're not epic long songs, but he is being verbose, and they kind of justify that for me.
Meaty. Your song was meaty too.
Thank you.
And the fullness and the roundness too.
Another thing I've inherited from R.E.M. is the guitar stylings of Peter Buck. The album Monster was particularly. I think I learned the song. I Took Your Name is the name of the song. Bow, 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 bow. And then there was Strange Currencies, which I learned to play on guitar when I was first learning, because that's when I was learning guitar, was in the 90s, mid-90s, and that album I think came out around 95, I'm not sure. Yeah, that sounds about right, Monster. Maybe
yeah,
it was 94. But
yeah, because I kind of dropped out in 91 with Losing My Religion, so that was a couple years later. It was more electric.
You remember Losing My Religion as being 1991?
That's when I stopped listening to R.E.M.
Oh, before Automatic for the People?
I loved it. It was so, like, when Jimmy Page started a different band, and I can't remember what they're called, but it was like that fullness around this. It was more electric, the album that came after.
After Out of Time. Oh.
After Out of Time.
Yeah, Automatic for the People, which has a song called Ignore Land, which is particularly one of those that, like I said, has a lot of content to it.
But Monster, wasn't that before?
Monster was after Automatic for the People,
okay,
and
how out
some
of
people.
Those two albums. That's why they just probably folded, not just because of me, but I think they lost a lot of fans, but it wasn't because they weren't good.
For me, they
They're
gained a fan. For me, Monsters is one of my favorite albums. I love the song Star 69. I know you called, I know you called, I know you hung up my line. Star 69. But the riff on it is amazing.
Peter Buck.
But back to Strange Currencies, the arpeggio that he's playing, it's what I learned to play, and I think that influenced my guitar playing on Money
You
Go.
like Mike Mills.
Money Go being Ultraviolet Rays song.
It wasn't Peter Buck was the drummer.
Mike Mills is the bass player.
Oh, bass. So who plays guitar? That's what
Peter Buck.
Peter Buck does. So the drummer's name is very similar.
Bill Berry.
Bill Berry, but it's like Peter Buck, Bill Berry. Got it.